What is going on, everybody? I know it's been a while, but welcome to Chaos Commentary. And today, we're going to be checking out a video that was uh, brought to my attention because this is made by an artist known as Rin. And before we go all up in the comments and everything, I did ask for permission from Rin, so first off, thank you, Rin. I will leave all of her socials down in the description. She is a new up-and-coming artist, and as somebody who is in the music industry, I have a music industry degree, as well as a concentration within music business. I want to take a look at this. It's about 3 minutes long, but I'm only going to be playing certain parts of it because I think it's definitely worth checking her music out, and definitely worth checking all of her platforms and everything. She's an excellent, beautiful woman who deserves all the love and support. So I will go through specific points where I feel like if it's necessary to kind of give my commentary. There we go, so you guys can see me better. I almost forgot about that because I sometimes don't really use it. But like I said, definitely check her out in the description. Check her out on all of her socials. I will have those linked down to the description as well. And definitely check out Detached as well, so that way then all the love and support from you guys. I bet it would definitely mean for her. And definitely, if you guys enjoy this kind of stuff, definitely leave a like, hit the subscribe, and turn on notifications so you won't miss commentary that I make. And let's jump right on in. No, I'm pausing it. But with the chord progression that she had just chosen, it's very subtle, but it's very good. It's one where it's like you have your first chord, you almost kind of have like a 4 chord and then a 5, if I'm correct on my hearing of this. Right away for me, as somebody who is a little bit more heavy into rock music and metal music, and who is trying to get a little bit more into pop, I'm actually a little bit more open-minded with it. It sounds very much like Boulevard of Broken Dreams by Green Day, but that's not a bad thing. I actually kind of like that, especially because it fits the vibe, because you hear like these really nice, beautiful, kind of like strong major chords, and then you hear that 5th part when you listen to it closely. That little chord right in there that makes it not a major 5, but I believe, and Rin, correct me if I'm wrong on this, it feels like either a minor or a diminished. It could be augmented, but it's definitely in one of those 3. It's not a major 5, I can tell you that. And depending on what key this is in, it's already setting it right. I feel like this is in G minor, but I could be wrong. But like I said, overall, great kind of first set of chords to kind of establish where you're at in the scale and establish the tonality of the music. You know you love it when I can't speak. Okay. I don't know if that was just the full verse or that was kind of like coming into the bridge of the song. But let me tell you right now, just hearing that little bit before going into the refrain, the you know you love it when I can't speak, because you kind of hear the clarity of her voice, and you know very, very well that it's setting up for something. And then when you hear can't speak, it's like you kind of get that sensation where it's like you understand she can't speak because of all the other things that are going on in the background, and it kind of emulates that vibe. um and it's kind of like how there's that little just no music, it's just her voice, because it then creates the impact that allows the refrain to hit much more hard and much more precise in what she wants. um this now, to me, if I were to compare it to an artist, and I mean, and there's no disrespect, this feels like Joji with slow dancing in the dark. And I love this kind of vibe. It feels very lo-fi. It feels, this song, like I said, I'm not a huge pop guy, or I'm not a huge kind of like modern hits kind of guy, but I will definitely say that this is a song that I would definitely throw into like a psychedelic playlist. Like there's like similar with Run by Joji, similar with Slow Dancing in the Dark, any lo-fi kind of music I consider to be like a chill psychedelic playlist, I can throw this in there. And this just feels right. Um I like the soft kind of like subtle note of uh when the beat kind of comes in, and you get a little bit more of a bassier tone with that. I also appreciate kind of her chorus effect that she has for her voice to kind of amplify uh, her refrain. I think it's very well done. I definitely think that she has nailed the mark on the timing as well. I feel like the time flows very, very good, because sometimes with music, if you're not on the right beat, it just doesn't sound right. she she makes this sound right. So I can't stop thinking. Stopping again, but I like the kind of muffled beat that's kind of in. It feels very spacey. It feels very much like that alt kind of vibe. Um, Honestly, the lyrics definitely get me in the feels as well, because I know feelings of like when you're broken up with someone, or if they cheated on you or anything like that. That it's like I totally get that feeling, and I totally get that vibe, and it feels like you're just kind of drifting through a little bit, and I see where she's going. However, I will say her high notes. I will say I enjoy that compared to, yes, you need the strong bass tones where it's like, for me as a bass, I like resonating a lot from my chest, because that's where your power comes from. However, there's a sense of delicateness when you throw it into the soft palette, and it feels very easy and very light, and it kind of makes it feel a little bit more delicate. So I kind of like that vibe. Um, you hear it a lot, especially on my other channel, Chaos Reigns Gaming channel, where I kind of have a little bit more of a higher pitched tone. Um, Whereas here it's a little bit more deep, and the timbre is very much in the chest, whereas in the Chaos Reigns channel it's very in the face. Um, but I like it. It feels delicate. It feels nice. Um, Definitely feels like it's not pushy. It doesn't feel breathy. It feels good in my ear. Nice fall. Enjoy the fall on that. Um, I will say, uh, falls can be a little bit picky just because of how you do it. But I will say, the one the one thing I kind of wished in that moment was like there was a little bit more of the chords that were there, and they were a little bit more strong. Because then when you have the fall, it just sounds like a choir of voices falling. But the fall is always a good way to just try something a little bit different, and just feels very much like in that alt kind of space. So it's not that it's incorrect. It's just I wish there was just a little bit more from the chords. Wish there was a little bit more between the harmonies of the different voices. So it kind of like swells, and then you hear the fall. And it's just a conglomerate of voices that it's like, it's not just one person crying out. It's like the one, like for the example, it's like your conscience, where it's like you kind of hear that inner voice. It's like you have your own voice, and then you have the inner voice. It's like all those inner voices just coming and just speaking their mind. But like I said, falls are good to always have, especially in those kinds of moments. Just wish it was a little bit more, like a little bit more present, a little bit more strong for each individual part of the chord. Before going on to this part, I will say, like the little moments where you hear the little ad libs come in, it's nice because you hear it being more present, and I appreciate that. There are sometimes people that say that like when you have multiple ad libs at once throughout the song, sometimes it can muddy it a little bit. But I will say that in this kind of context, it doesn't feel muddied. It just feels like you're trying to reach out for different voices and you're trying to pluck them out of the air. And I think it's very well done in that case. I like how there's kind of like a sense of strength that it's like pulling in and pulling out. Um, Honestly, because originally I was thinking like, well, maybe you could fade it out a little bit, but no, it's kind of like the perfect kind of fade. Um, Interesting. Okay. Nah, this is so far like very enjoyable. I like this. The lyrics are very much hitting deep, and it feels like with those multiple voices that it's like multiple times of crying out for answers that it's like you had the chance to go. Are you going to choose to accept it? And I know that can be heavy in a lot of situations, especially heavy in relationships and everything. But this, at first, I was kind of like, well, is it maybe? And then I'm like, no, you're right. You did this right. Like, it does feel like that. So that little moment when you hear the different harmonies come in, that's what I mean. Like, if they're more prevalent, um, especially in the fall. Um, just hearing the chords that build up with it, and you can kind of just hear it as like it's not just one voice that it's saying it's multiple voices, and providing emphasis and providing that this is a crucial point in the lyrics that you should focus on. I think with that kind of stuff, it's very important to understand that. It's very important to recognize that this is what it is. And I doing it like that, especially when there's not a whole lot of noise going on in the background, and it just feels right. So well done on that. So we can't let this die. Why can't I let this die? The ending I really enjoy because a lot of times with music, there's always having to be this conclusion, like this ending point that it's concluding. And sometimes I feel like they don't take the risk of basically just saying that it's like, hey, this is all great and all dandy, and we can conclude everything. I like this kind of style where she kind of ended it as a question. And it's one where it it feels so interesting. Like it's an interesting question to pose. Like again, listen to the question. So we can't let this die. Why can't I let this die? Why can't I love this side? And I think as an artist, you can take it into multiple interpretations. You can take it with the lyrics on how everything is kind of drawn in, where it's like, why can't I love the side that I used to love? Or why can't I love this new side of me that wants to be free? You can take it into multiple interpretations as well, where it's like, which side of you will you truly love after you have detached yourself from a relationship that you feel like you couldn't have that other side? Can you truly find it again? I think when songs end on a question, it allows the listener to contemplate and allows the listener to re-listen back to the lyrics and re-listen to the song again to understand what it is, what the points that the artist is trying to make, but also come up with their own interpretations. Because, yes, music can be subjective. However, when you look at it from an objective lens, you truly get an interesting meaning behind the music. So, overall, in general, with this song, first off, Rin, if you're watching this, I hope that you're doing well with Spotify and on YouTube with this song. I will say that, like, I'm somebody who doesn't listen to this kind of music a whole lot, just because I'm more of a metalhead and a rock head. However, songs like this really have swayed me back to listening to them. And trust me, I will definitely continue to listen to this song. I actually do really, really appreciate it. Also, I wish you much success on your work. I know with whoever your mixer and master is for doing this, first off, well done. It's beautifully mixed. It doesn't feel like one thing is taking over the other. Your voice is crisp and clear. I love that. Because sometimes with mixing and mastering, sometimes they try to do like this cool panning kind of like effect with the different sounds. But no, it didn't feel like I was missing anything. It felt like it was coming in through both ears, and I could hear it even when I was having one ear out, just because I wanted to listen to see if it was panning. Like, your voice was right in the middle the entire time. I didn't feel like I had to put on one headphone to listen to the voice and then the other headphone to listen to the music. It felt really balanced and really good. I love the tonality of your voice. I think it suits very well, especially with this kind of richness that you can give to it, especially with a lower kind of like, it's not like a soprano, it's more, I don't know if you're an alto or not, but I will say, like, it doesn't feel like this super like high pitched or super like you're trying to go up into the high notes. It's like you really settle into that chest voice, and it was very, very good. And it didn't feel like it was jarring to me. It felt very relaxing, and it felt like very easy and flowy, and I like that. So, with that being said, everybody, that was Detached by Rin. And honestly, if I have to give this a score, honestly, I would have to give this score probably an 8.5 to 9 out of 10. I would definitely recommend listening to this song again. Definitely look at those lyrics as well, because those are some hard-hitting lyrics. Rin, thank you so much again for letting me react to this and letting me kind of make a video about this. I really do appreciate you. Definitely everybody check out her channel, check out her social media pages. Thank you guys so much for watching another Chaos Commentary video. I hope you guys did enjoy that. If you guys want to see any other kind of topics discussed, like music or movies or anything like that, please let me know down in the comments below. And definitely subscribe to join the Chaos Army. And until then, I'll see you guys in the next one. Remember, let the chaos reign, my friends. Peace out.